Carly, thanks. At the start of the pandemic, millions of people left the office and started working from home.
Some still are.
Some still are.
But as more get vaccinated and COVID testing becomes more widely available, could the work from home trend be ending? Nah, probably not. Here more to tell us about it. We have Jake Clopton, president of Clopton Capital. It's like we've opened up Pandora's box. Jake, you can't put it back, right?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about maybe working from home, how it could come to an end because of the Federal Reserve. That's kind of odd, right?
Yeah. So part of what the Fed is doing, right, to help combat inflation, and one of the areas we're really focusing on is the labor market, right? And so you have this interesting thing going on in the labor market where there's still 2 job openings for every unemployed person. And what that's really done is put the power, like in the hiring process, in the hands of like the employee as opposed to the employer, which it has historically been. But the Fed has really come out and said that they're actively trying to cure that kind of dislocation in that market. So as they raise rates and cool the economy, the labor market's also going to cool. And as that gap closes, I think the power in the hiring process is going to revert back to the employer, and they're going to be able to dictate a little bit more who they want to come into the office and if they want certain positions to be office roles again versus just remote.
You know, and I think for so many of us, for so long, obviously, it was you go into work, you do the commute, you da 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 da. But it's amazing how in 2.5 years, that whole routine has just flown out the window. So if people are suddenly getting a job where they have to go back in, or they're being told you have to come back into the office, what can you do to mentally and physically prepare to get back in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be easier for people that used to commute, right? And they were kind of used to that back then. I think there's a lot of people that have entered the labor force, and this is really like all they know, like a Gen Z or something like that, right? Where they've just been working from home since they got out of college, right? So that's going to be a little bit tougher. I think the really difficult part today is that just the whole commute aspect is more expensive than it used to be, right? Because of inflation, like gas prices are higher. Like cars in general are higher. Everything's more expensive. So really, I think you're just going to have to set aside more money, just to make that commute into work than you used to have to. And in addition, one of the reasons why people like in cities want people back in the office was there's really this whole ecosystem of businesses that were built around people being in the office, right? I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen those kind of downtown restaurants get shut down because there's really just not enough people to support them as they're used to. So it's not just employers, it's really kind of that whole ecosystem of like the downtown area that wants people to come back.
Yeah, and Jake, it's interesting. You said the power right now is in the employees' hands. A lot of employees think, I don't have to go back to the office. The company can't afford to lose me. But what happens if the people just don't want to go back and the employee and the employer wants them to?
Right, yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, all it's really going to take is that one guy that says, hey, I'll go into the office, right? And he'll get the job over somebody that's going to work from home. So, I mean, as the labor market becomes more competitive, I think we're going to start to see more and more of people going back to the office versus doing remote jobs.
All right. Jake, thank you for joining us this morning. Jake from Clopton Capital.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one.
It's fascinating.
Take care.